Hey guys, RW here on Little Mountain. Going to take a look at these two modified Crosman 2240 pellet guns that run off CO2, and going to do a ballistic comparison between the two of them so you can see what, if any, differences have been made in the amount of power and penetration the pellet gets. So we've got a highly modified Crosman 2240. It's had a lot of things done to it, and here we have one that's dolled up and suitable for shooting by a younger shooter, in this case my 6-year-old daughter. And this gun has had a slight modification to the bolt probe, but there's no modifications to the power valve, and it's running a stock length barrel, and it has a stock hammer spring. So this is basically going to be our box stock comparison. This is what you could expect your 2240 to do if you shot it. This has an improved trigger and sear and hammer, so the trigger feel and the way the hammer lets off and everything is a little nicer than a box stock gun, but I don't think that's really going to affect the power of the shots. You know, obviously the smoother the hammer travels and the nicer it hits the striker, the more charge it's going to let, but I think it's minimal. I don't think it's going to be enough to make this not a good comparison for stock. The barrel has been de-blued using vinegar and then sanded up to 600 to remove all the machining marks, and then buffed out on the buffing wheel, something that didn't cost anything. This stock is pretty neat. You guys need to see this. This stock is called the Backpacker, and you'll notice that it has no screws. It has a mark where you could put screws, but it has no screws. It has a little spring-loaded pin that fits in the grip, and when you push that in, you can slide the whole thing off. I don't think I can do it one-handed, however. I'll show you in a second. This has a stock that I made for myself to fit my particular ergonomics and needs and everything, and it was free because I made it out of materials in my own shop. And to give you a comparison length of the stocks, you can see that my stock is maybe 2 inches longer than the Backpacker stock, and that's because I'm a bigger guy. However, this stock is a little big for my kids to shoot, so something like this is perfect for kids or adults. Okay, you'll notice that this one has a plastic breech, this one has a steel breech. The steel breech definitely improves your accuracy, and it allows you to mount a scope or some other optical device. This also has had trigger work and some other things, as you can see, added to it. This is running a 14.5-inch barrel, which is going to make the pellet fly faster even if I put it on this gun, because it gives it more time for the charge to push it. These are kind of gas hogs. These 2240s have a big puff of gas out of them every time you shoot them, and it's pretty much wasting that gas. And if you put up to about an 18-inch long barrel, 16-inch round in there, you'll get about the best use of your CO2 charge. So that's one way to do it without modifying the valves or springs or anything. But this one has a stronger hammer spring in it from a 1377 pump pellet gun, so the hammer strikes harder. And I've modified the valve inside by angling the port so that air flows more directly into the transfer valve, and by cutting some threads off of the cap of the valve to increase the overall capacity of what it will hold. But that's about it for mods on that. The hole is a little bit bigger too, so there's a little bit less restriction and there's a little bit more charge. So this will get fewer shots but more powerful charges per shot compared to a box stock gun. Alright, so that's pretty much it on the overview of these two guns. So how about if we go outside and pop a few rounds into some toilet paper and see how they compare. Guys, I'm going to do my best to make this, you know, relatively scientific in the sense of being identical. So I've got two CO2 cartridges that have been in my pocket for a few minutes, so they're both the same temperature. Got two rolls of toilet paper from the same pack. Got pellets from the same tin. So this should just limit it to the differences between the two pistols. And we'll just load them up. Find out what happens, huh? You got to pierce the cartridge. Okay, and that should have filled the deal with a full charge. Okay, let's pierce this one. Oh, that made a funny sound. Okay, now what I want to do is fire each gun one time. Make sure it's got a full charge. Okay, let's leave that sit there for a second. Fire this one. Wow. Okay. Now we'll load a pellet. Okay, and we'll just shoot point blank right at the, about 3 inches away. Okay, we'll recover that just a second. Now, do the exact same thing with this. Okay. Oh, UPS is coming up. I don't want to freak him out, but I do want to show you where see how the one on the left is further away. Here comes UPS. Alright, so plastic has arrived, so I got to stop playing, guys. I got a couple panels to make. Send one out to Chris for the one that U.S. Postal Service lost. First panel ever lost. First thing I've ever mailed lost. Oh, so this one's going to go out insured. But let's just take a quick look at these before I dissect them. And I want to get this video over with. But you can see that the stock gun, it went through the core, and then it's trapped inside there somewhere. So it didn't quite make it through. And on the modified gun, you can see it went through the core, and it looks like it tried to get out. It may have gotten out, actually. Sorry. See? So that right there should show you something. And look at the little holes it punches. It makes little toilet paper holes. So, and that's interesting because it did that only on this one. And if you look inside, you can see that really nice hole punched in the core. And this one is all puffy. So this one punched, I mean, look at that. That's a really nice hole. And this hole is a little tiny bit smaller. So apparently the extra power and whatever, I mean, if you're using this to kill small animals, this would be a better thing for killing small animals, I imagine. That's a little bit less of a hole and a little bit less of a hole. But we'll dissect these inside, guys. Pretty interesting, huh? You can just take a couple rolls of toilet paper, and then the UPS guy can show up and wonder what the hell's the matter with you, and and then you can go to the shop and make side panels. What a life! For the final bit here, let's cut these things so we can see what's going on with it. We'll try and cut them directly across the bullet hole, I guess, so that we can. This is the first one that was shot with the relatively stock. Let's see if this thing's sharp enough to cut. It's doing something. trapped in there or not. Seems like it would have. Yes, okay. Now let me bring the camera over and show you. Okay. So I have cut down to where the pellet ended its ride. So, and is it deformed? Yeah, it's a little deformed from where it went sideways and stopped. Didn't seem to change its real shape of its head though, see? But the skirt's a little bent, and it made it almost through. There was still this much to go. Alright, let's get that out of the way. Nice, huh? Let's look at this one. This one came in from this side, and it looks to me like it made it all the way out that side. We can just take a look at the deal anyway, huh? You can look at that nice track. Very nice, huh? And here's the core. I don't think I need to cut through that. I can just look at that. Look at that big exit hole that thing made. Look at the size of that exit hole. My God, it's about a half of an inch of an exit hole. And then you can really see the track. Gotta love toilet paper for a ballistic medium, guys. You can see the track and how I could put my little finger in there. That's how big the hole is from that thing going through there. That's crazy, huh? Look at the side of that. I don't think that means the pellet expanded or anything. I just think maybe it was just so much force, it was just taking a lot of paper with it. See what I'm saying? That's a pretty good size diameter track. And then on this one, much smaller track. Much smaller diameter track compared. You can look at them side by side. You can see the two tracks. Stock, modded. So I think without a doubt the modded power valve is making a lot more ballistic energy with the pellet. Worthy mod, but it uses more CO2. You'll get fewer shots. So if you just like target shooting and you're just punching holes in paper, you may not need maximum power. But if you want to take small game, you maybe could do it if you modded up your CO2 gun enough, huh? So I just wanted to show you guys, while I got the camera on the tripod here, how the stock comes off. How nice it is. It's just so simple. It just slides off. You push the button in. If I can do it properly, right? You just push the button in, and it slides off. And as a testament to this duplicolor paint, it's barely scratching it when I slide it past it. And then you just slide it back on. It's the same deal. Now it's on there. So you can backpack it. That's why they call it the backpacker. Except I'm pushing against the metal, so of course it's not going to come off. But relatively small things. If you're going to go out looking for some food, this might be a good tool. You can also do that with the pump version 1377. Fits on it too. So that's it, guys. That's it on that.